games. It's ScrubGames. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames. Drop a like, drop a sub, go ahead and subscribe to ScrubGames.
How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have a Never Ever Understand How to Build series where I go over all the leaders in a given set to help you understand how to build them to suit you and your playstyle. Now we've covered all the blue leaders, so all four of those have been covered. Now we're going to cover the green leaders. Start with the Villainy side. First one starting off is Morgan Elsbeth. So if you're interested there, then stay tuned, and also don't forget you can also like, comment and subscribe to keep updated with my videos as and when they drop, and by clicking that notification bell you can then get alerts when my videos do drop so you can watch them there and then or later time that suits you best. And also note we are on our way to 2,000 subs, our next goal, and we are currently, as of recording, 34 away. So if you haven't subscribed, feel free to look into it, subscribe if you want to, and basically get in the benefits. And also if you already have subscribed, thank you very much, and thank you for supporting the channel. So now let's get into it and help you understand how to build Morgan Elsbeth. So first thing we're going to do is start with the leader, because Star Wars Unlimited is a leader focused game and you can't really play without one. And the majority of the time, well mainly all the time, is you're going to be building your deck around that leader. So with this leader we have Morgan Elsbeth, and she's she's a force leader because all leaders in the set are force. And the other trait she has is Imperial and Knight. Now the Knight trait is a brand new one. It doesn't really have many benefits, it doesn't really have much going for it. But Imperial, you can get a lot of support from that because there's a lot of cards that refer to that trait and also benefit from having it. So let's see what kind of Morgan wants to do, because every leader has an effect and they're mainly what you're building around. And sometimes when you do deploy your leader, sometimes completely change, or it can sometimes just be an improvement when they are deployed. And for Morgan Elsbeth, it's all about the keywords in the game. So we've got quite a few keywords. We've even got a brand new one in this set, and she's all about benefiting from that to do a reduced cost. So what her effect is when she's in leader area is an action whereby tapping her as a cost, you choose a friendly unit that has attacked this phase. So you need something that actually has an attack, or has attacked this phase, so you can't do it the first turn. And then play a unit from your hand that shares a keyword with the chosen unit, and it costs one less. So you're focusing on playing cards with keywords so you can actually play more things, and you want ones that share the same keywords. You want units that have similar keywords so you can play out more expensive ones a little bit cheaper. So there's a type of cost reduction, but unlike the hand leader from set 2, where it's quite an easy one to do, where you just play it one less but you do 2 damage to it when it comes to the play, then it's not as easy as that. It's a little bit more complicated, but it does get a bit easier when she's deployed. And when she does deploy, it's at 5 or more resources, which is not too late, but quite early. She comes down as a 3/6, which is pretty good, solid stats, good amount of health, out range of takedown, and also free power is respectable. Now when she has deployed, her effective becomes an improvement now, where instead of having a unit attack, she has to attack. So on attack, the effect is that the next unit you play this phase costs 1 less if it shares a keyword with a friendly unit. Now unfortunately she doesn't come down with any keywords herself, so she can't benefit from playing something with the same, like if she came in with shielded or ambush or something like that. It would be crazy with ambush, but if she was able to come down with a keyword herself, that would be useful, because then you can focus on that one. But she doesn't have one herself, so you're relying on other units to have the keywords. So what we need to do is have a look at the keywords and kind of see what benefits there are, but that is basically a leader. So she's all about playing units with the same keywords at reduced cost, and she can do that on both sides and just a little bit better when she's deployed. Now the other thing to note is she does have a showcase, and what a showcase is just an alternative art of the leader, more shiny, harder to get art, which just gives a better view of the leader, making it so it's a little bit nicer. Sometimes they are nicer, sometimes they aren't that great or a bit worse, but it's down to you, because remember, showcase is alternative art, and art is always subjective. So the only opinion that really matters about art is yours, because you'll be one card playing it, well you'll be one person playing it. So if you like it, fair enough. If you don't like it, fair enough. It's only down to you. So before we move a bit further, as I said, she's all about focus on keywords, and currently 14 keywords in this game. So here are all the keywords here. Now, while some are a little bit better, some are evergreen, meaning that they are available in almost every set. whatever keywords are set focused. So you've got things like bounty and smuggle, which are keywords that only came out in set 2 and I've only seen a release in set 2, so I haven't seen a release in any other set. Same with coordinate and exploit. They came out in set 3. No other cards with exploit or coordinate outside that set, so you reduce the cards in that set for those ones. And the same with pilot in set 4, which is a focus on that one. So I think you can play them out with that one. Is a little bit different. You can't really play them from pilot with that, but if you got pilot, you got a card on pilot on board, you can do that. So these are the keywords. So those are the ones that are set focus, which you only get cards from that set. While the other keywords are evergreen, meaning they can be found every set, and there's a lot more of them in there. Some of these keywords are a bit better than others, like ambush and shielded are very strong keywords, very good ones, while the other ones are still pretty good as well. You might have a focus on certain ones. But those are all the keywords you can use with Morgan to get that kind of a cost reduction. Now, this would be the part where I cover the basics, which I used to cover, going over the bases, the aspects, aspect penalty, and ratios. But I've kind of cut this because of feedback, because there were some people that did not like it, or there were some people that appreciated. So I've kind of cut this, and instead I've made a understanding the basics video that I'm going to do every set, just to cover the new basics from each set. And since I didn't do it for previous sets, I've done it to cover all first 5 sets, like the basics from the game, and even cover a new mechanic, because there was a brand new mechanic in this set, being the force mechanic. So if you're brand new to the game or a newer player, feel free to check out videos. There should be a card that have appeared at some point at this time that you can basically click on, go to that video, check that out, understand the basics of the game in full, then come back and understand the build Morgan Elsbeth to suit yourself a little bit better. So if you're hopefully if you're brand new, you can go and check that out. If you're not, you're more of a veteran, more of a experienced player, we're going to get now into the different aspects and help you understand how to build Morgan Elsbeth to suit you and playstyle in different aspects. So we got the aspect options, because every leader has, mostly every leader has 4 different aspect combos. Now, you always get 2 from Morgan, being the Villainy aspect and the command aspect. So, always 2 from that. And you'll get an extra 1 depending on what base you use. Now, there is technically 5 aspects, 5 aspect combos, but you're not going to have the 5th one, because the other one is using an aspectless base, being Elite Country. And that means you basically have no aspect, but you have 34 health, which isn't really worth it, especially for Morgan. When you want to focus on keywords, you want to get more keywords out of more aspects and more cards. So I haven't put that in, but you can get 4 different aspect combos with Morgan. So if you go for green base, you got double green. Blue base gives you blue, green, blue. Red base gives you green, red. And a yellow base gives you green, yellow. Now, we're going to go and dive through these different aspects to see what benefits you can get from Morgan, and if they're a good fit for Morgan to be an actual player. Right, so first one we should cover is command, because that's the aspect that Morgan provides herself, and we want to kind of see what options she provides just on her own, and if you go do for double aspect as well. So for bases, you've got quite a few options, and the thing is with command, that the bases are usually more used than the leaders. Like you don't see too many green leaders. Like if you look at the Galactics, there's only 1 in the top lot, being Vader for a green leader, but most of the time you'll get green bases instead, because they're quite strong. Now for the force bases, if you want to go for force focus, which luckily Morgan doesn't have to focus on, she doesn't need the force mechanic, so she's quite lucky there. If you want to use the force mechanic, you either have the common bases like Jedi Temple, where you attack with a force unit to gain the force, or you got Mystic Monastery, which just as an action give you the force, but you can use it 3 times a game. Other bases you can go for, if you want to go double green, you've got Energy Conversion Lab, or ECL for short, which is a very nice one, allows you to play out a unit giving it ambush for the phase. So you can play a unit 6 or less, you've got still pay the cost for it though, and then it gains ambush for that phase. So it doesn't really interact well with Morgan, because you can't use Morgan and play something cheaper with ambush, because it's 2 separate actions, but you can use this if you want to. And you got Data Vault, which is a very useful base as well. It gives you 33 health, which is quite a lot of health, but at the cost of that extra 3 health, you have to have 10 more cards in your deck, meaning your minimum is 60 instead of 50. If you don't like that, then you can always go for 30 health skillless base, which is the bog standard. So those are the bases if you want to go double green. Now, what the thing is with green is the ramp aspect, which means it can increase its resources quicker than any other aspect, give you more to play with, so you can pair out bigger things quicker or more things sooner. So these are the 4 ramp cards you kind of have for it that are in the available to you without going double aspect. So you have Super Laser Technician and Resupply is the easiest ones. You just play them out. Resupply, you just play it and you ramp straight away. Super Laser Technician, you do play it, you don't ramp straight away, but it's easy enough to defeat him, which is how you ramp with him. When defeated, put the player's resource, and he's only got 1 health, so it's very easy to do with ping damage or ram into your opponent's units to fulfill it. You have Pricing Ahead, which is like ramping with extra steps. You need to put this on a unit, mainly one of your opponent's units, and then defeat it so that way you can claim the bounty and resource on top of your deck. Now you do have then Resupply character, which is just like Resupply, a very easy ramp, but is later in the game because it's double the cost of Resupply. 6 costs instead of 3, and when you play it, you ramp the top card of your deck. So 2 of them are probably easy straight away ramped. One as it is turn 2, the other one a little bit later. You got Super Laser Technician, which is unique in that when it puts itself into play and readies itself, so it becomes usable straight away, whereas the rest of them they ramp in exhausted. And you got Pricing Ahead as a nice one you can potentially put on a unit turn 1 and defeat it turn 2. Now for command cards, the better cards are in Villainy and Heroism, which is a lot of the case with most aspects. You get the better units are in the Heroism side or Villainy side. But you still have some good ones. So like here we have some pretty nice ones. You've got a turn, like you've got the Morgan Retainer, which is a nice one. It could be a Sentinel if you have another green unit on play. You got Maz Kanata, which is one of those ones that we've got for quite a lot of traits where you can, when they're played, you can attack with a unit of a certain trait and give it an extra buff power for that attack. So in this case, an extra 2 power. If you attack with a force unit, you get an extra 2 power for that attack. You got Kiwi Warrior, which is one of those ones with a nice keyword in Ambush and also Sentinel. So this is one you can make come out a little bit cheaper. Same with Jedi Temple Guards, Ambush and Restore 2, so give you more keywords for your options. And you've got some other ambush ones like Terran Tarak and Agent Callus as well, which have ambush. I think Terran Tarak doesn't technically have ambush until it's played, but can be one to play a cheaper ambush from your hand after that. And and you got Agent Callus, which has ambush. You can play it a little bit cheaper and play this a little bit earlier. Is pretty nice. And then you've got your bigger units, which don't always have keywords, but are still good. So you've got Archqueen's Assault Cruiser is one you can play a bit cheaper because it's ambush, so you can play it out. Ambush being a very good keyword. And the other options, if you go for Force Focus, you can have Dagon Master, which is pretty nice. And then you've got Reinforcement Walker as well as a very good one that you have heal or more cards being a very good top end. Now in terms of events and upgrades, you've got some pretty nice ones being Timely Invention, be able to give your player unit and give it ambush for that phase, which is cool. So another way to ambush things here, which becomes very useful when we get like the Darth Vader in blue. You got Resupply as we've seen in the ramp, and you got Traitorous as a way to take your opponent's units that are cheap, 3 cost or less, and have them as your own, which is cool. Now in Villainy is where it gets a little bit stronger, and you got some pretty nice units in here. Now not all of them have keywords, but some of them do have some pretty strong ones. Now you got some early turns that you've got Resupply, Super Laser Technician as your ramp, like we've seen. You got Phase 3 Dark Trooper as well, Sentinel, pretty good kind of keyword to have. You got Crumb as well as a little bit of heal if you want to for like your very cheap plays. And then you have your only 3 force units in the Villainy side of green, being 8th Brother, Darth Vader, and Maul, all have an ambush, so very good ones to play after a turn, and have different costs, whereas you got 2 of them 7, 1 of them 6, all have ambush and pretty nice effects where they can buff each other up. Well, like do some nice things like have Overwhelm, have something else take damage, play more things out, or even buff up things depending if you use the Force. And for spaceships, you also got some good stuff as well, like ISI, which gives you a breath, like a load of different keywords to play with. So it gives you loads of different options like Hidden, Ambush, Overwhelm, and Restore, which is perfect for Morgan, and it comes in pair as well because it's the gateway that she uses to go to the throne if you've seen the Ahsoka series. You also have Relentless and Death Set being very 2 big powerful ships, and some good events and upgrades like you've got Overwhelm Barrage, one of the best events in the game. Properties return, like replay things back from the discard, and even Craven Power as well to basically be like another form of Overwhelm Barrage, just more an upgrade and a little bit different to it. You also have cards that are Villainy as well, because remember Villainy is an aspect that is unique. in that it's not only just attached to, it's not only on its own cards, but also attached to other aspects as well. So when they're on their own, you've got some pretty nice ones like Kylo giving you Overwhelm, Stoplock Guard giving you Sentinel, Shuttle giving you Shielded, and even Darth Tyrannus giving you Shielded and Ambush, depending if you've got the Force. So nice several ones you can have with the keyword to help to get that benefit of Morgan to get that cheap cost reduction. And then with Darth Tyrannus, you will have to use the Force. Remember, you don't have to if you don't want to. It can still come in as a pretty decent shielded unit to help out. Now, if you want to go for Force Focus, there's not too many Force units in Green Villainy, or Green or Villainy in general. Like, you've got the ones we've already seen. Like, we've already seen all the green ones. You've got Cypher Diaz if you want to go for a clone focus, which isn't great, but I put it on as an option because these are literally all the Force units you have accessible to Morgan in his own aspects. And some other ones you've got Fallen Jedi, which is just a vanilla one. Alright stats, but just vanilla. Darth Manic, which only really gets his benefit if you've got a Sith Leader, which unfortunately Morgan is not. And the Sun, which is pretty good, but you need the Force mechanic with it, because where you have the Force, he gives a buff to every unit you have to give an extra 2 power. So these are all your Force focus stuff. Remember, you don't have to have a Force unit if you don't want to, but if you want to go for a Force focus, which you don't need to, you can have, these are all your Force leaders to get, well, Force units to get those benefits. So next we're going to double aspect. So these are the 12 double aspect cards you have for green. So with double aspect, what you basically get with this is that you sacrifice a whole other aspect, which isn't really beneficial thing for Morgan, to get access to all these 12 double aspect cards. So you're losing access to all the red, yellow, and blue cards, just to have access to these 12 cards. And what we're going to look through now is for double aspect, if it's worth going double green for her, because essentially you're losing access to a whole of the cards for 12. We gotta make sure these 12 cards are worth it. So now these 12 cards, these are the ones that are worth it really. So we've crossed out all the ones that aren't great. So like Krill doesn't give you any keywords and is not great stats for its cost. Attack Power Delta, it's not that great and ready to spam the board. Endless Legion is not a kind of card you want to focus on with Morgan. It's better leaders to do it with. And Force Loyalty isn't great. And then we got Manufacturing Soldiers, Pyrrhic Assault, and Unit Purpose, which aren't beneficial for Morgan really. Unitary Power Purpose could be, you can get a lot of unique ones, but it's not oftentimes going to. Now, Command is a good card to help you ramp to kind of increase your resources and give you more other options as well to buff things up, and you can get things back for your discard. You got Enterprise Lackeys, which give you cards to smuggle in, a new trait as well, new keyword to actually use some of the smuggle stuff, and also something you can smuggle in to put resource in and have it later to have a unit. You got Mazamade, which you can play turn 1 if you do see it, and then start from every turn after when you're playing units. Make sure you're getting more units, to make sure you've got like units to play for that cost reduction, which is pretty good. Oppo Francis can give you a lot of different aspects, like different keywords as well, which is really cool. And then you've even got the spaceship, what's it, Accelerator Assault Ship, which is a big spaceship, but then when it attacks, you give one of every unit an extra, like a 5/5 buff, which is pretty strong, could help you out. So if you're going double aspect, you sacrifice whole other aspect for these 5 cards technically, and is that worth it? No, it's not worth it. So I wouldn't recommend going double green for Morgan if you want, really. If you wanted to, you can go for it, just I wouldn't recommend it. So next we're going to go for the, I've looked at blue, so we're going to back in the color order now. So if you go for a blue base, what you're going to get with blue. So in terms of bases, once again, Force Focus if you want to. You've got the standard common ones, attack with a Force unit, gain the Force. Or you've got the rare one, and this one is a way to give you the Force, but it only gives you Force once a game, whereas at the end of your turn, if you control a unit with 4 or more remaining HP, you gain the Force. So the way to make sure you can gain the Force to have it ready for your next turn, but you can only gain it once a turn, because since it happens at the regroup phase. Outside of that, you got some base. You got the biggest health base in the game, being Colossus, which gives you an extra 5 health, so 35, which is huge. But you start off with 5 cards instead of 6, so you start off with 1 less card than normal. Now, Pal City is one that can help give a bit more health to Morgan when she's on the board, but 26 health is not great. Or you can go for just a 30 health standard base if you feel that's not useful. Next, we're going to go over Anakin, because this is a very strong legendary from the set, and you're going to want to get the full benefit if you want to, and we're going to look at what ways you can do that. So, to get the full benefit for Morgan, you're going to want to put a heroic card in your deck. And if you're putting a heroic card, you can get any aspect penalty, which means you're going to have to pay 2 more for that card. So you want something cheap, and probably the cheapest you can do is go for Vista Reflection, because it's a 1-cost event which is going to cost 3. At least it's got some benefit where if you control a force unit, which you're hopefully focusing on with your leader, you can then minus a unit by 2/2, which can either help make him weaker to take out, or also finish off anything that's small. Another benefit to it is if you get Force Road, which is a very popular card in the meta at the moment, because all the force units to help enable the full effect of it. This is a 1-cost card to get them the absolute minimum kind of damage from Force Rail. So that's probably how you can probably get the benefit of Anakin to the maximum in this deck. Then with Villainy, you got some really good stuff in Villainy, and I've made sure to focus on cards more that have keywords. So you got some turn 1 keyword units like Pike Sentinel and Director Cunning, which have Sentinel shielded, which you can get out, attack with them, and then be able to play a card cheaper for the next turn with Morgan. Because shield is a good one, he helps protect the unit, and even if they lose the shield, they then still have the keyword. And Sentinel is one that allows you to get more things up to defend yourself as well. And you then got the Client and Supremacy Tie as cards that are higher up that then have the same keywords and very beneficial effect and stats. Going up once again, we have then Iden and Charlton. Going up once again then further with this shielded and Sentinel keywords. Then you got some bigger units that may not have the keywords that you can get out, but then still strong ones. Like you got Devastating Gunship, was a very nice one with Grip. That's a keyword. You got Dooku with shielded coming out on 6 instead of 7. It's pretty useful. You even got Avenger, which doesn't have any keywords, but it's a very powerful ship. And alongside those, in blue, you have good removal events. And blue Villainy has some extra ones, being Paradox Side, being a mini version of Avenger. No glory, only results, taking out anything that's not a leader, but you take control of it to get benefits from there when defeated, or just make sure you can take out something that can't be then defeated by an opponent. And Super Laser Blast being basically just a board wipe of the entire board in your stuff. Then in normal Vigilance, you don't have too many great things in normal Vigilance, but you do have a lot of good removal events and upgrades. But in terms of units, a little bit lacking. So you got things like Monster of Armor for Restore, you got Secret Sage for turn 1 unit plus shield, so an extra 1 like Chronic. You've got Axe Woes shielded, so shielded might be a very good one if you want to go for blue, because then you also have Outer and Outlaws. Even Axe Woes, the more upgrades it puts on in, the stronger it gets. And then you even have things like Cargo Juggernaut, once again, never shielded, it can even heal you, and Relief Runner as well for Restore. So you got shielded being a very a main one for blue, which is a very good one as well. And you even got some good upgrades like Entrenched and Pair Position for like a good bit of defense and hold off. And you got removal events even more in normal blue, being like Take Down Fellow Dragon, Vanquish, and Rivals Fall, all being ways to take out your opponent's units in different restrictions and costs. Now, if you do want to go for a Force unit, you do have Force Focus. You do have some good Force units. You have the Night Sister package with Karis, Night Sister Warrior, Taos Assassin, Oldaka. None of them have keywords, but they're very good ways to make use of the Force and have good benefits to when defeated or played by using the Force. You also have Chur as a way to use the Force to have Sentinels as well. That proves pretty well with Morgan, just having a keyword. Kiadi being a very top end, it can help you draw more cards. Then you got your big bads being like Anakin and Vader being very strong ones. Even Vader getting good benefit from being green, so good combination of that. Thanks to having ECL and also Tummy Invention to get an ambush to get the full use, turning from an alright card to a busted card when he's given ambush. You also have Count Dooku, like we've seen. You also have Snoke and Darth Sidious, as well as your top end cards. That has some good benefits as well. You also got Shatter Point as a way, once again, a never removal card, but then gets better if you use the Force mechanics, and by using the Force you can take out anything that's not a leader. So, blue, is that a good way to play Morgan? Absolutely it is, because that's probably one of the better combinations. Green, blue, and Villainy is a very good combination. It's been tried and tested since the beginning of the game. Next we have red, and this is a very nice one because it pairs quite nicely in Villainy, and green as well, it's done quite well. And you have quite a few different base options as well. So once again, the Force options are both ones that require to attack, normal ones, the common ones being Force units attack to gain the Force, and you have Temple Destruction being the rare one, which if you do 3 damage or more to a base for your combat, you gain the force that way. So you can even allow non-force units or even vehicles to be able to go ahead and gain the force. You just have a little bit less health. Yeah, Tarkin Town being a very strong base that we've had seen throughout since set 3 now, actually take effect and be quite strong. And because it's a very good tempo one, you got Thermal Oscillator if you want to make your deck a bit more consistent by reducing the minimum amount of cards you need from 50 to 45. And you once again have the standard 30 health bases if you don't need any of those or feel they're not really going to be beneficial. So villainy stuff, there's quite a few good ones. You've got some smaller ones, and with keywords there are a fair few. You've got some smaller ones like with Gavian Antagonizer, I think, with Saboteur. You got the Strike Ship with Raid 3 and Overwhelm, so good ones there. You got some force units as well in like 5th Bravo, Grand Inquisitor, and 7th Sister with keywords like Hidden, Raid, and Saboteur. And also you have Fools of the Coven being another one with Raid, so Raid being a good one you can get the benefit of in red. And you've got some good spaceships and bigger units like your spaceships. You've got Ruthless Raider and Devastator, which while don't have keywords are very strong ones that can push a lot of damage to help you kind of push damage to your opponent's base, being the focus of aggression. And same with Palpatine being a nice way to throw damage around, but also has keywords as well like Overwhelm to help benefit in dropping it earlier. And you've got some good events and upgrades like Force Lightning being a very strong one, especially with more force units. Force Stroke good as well, and Fallen Lightsaber being a very good upgrade to put on units too. Now in the normal side of aggression, like I said before, most of the time with any aspect, the better cards are in the villainy or heroism sides. But you still get some good cards in the non-villainy heroic sides. For aggression, you've got some good ones. You've got some good force units with good keywords like Witch of Mist providing Hidden, Katina Braggart giving you Raid, Housecast Soldier giving you Saboteur, and even like Hidden Jedi giving you Hidden. You then got some good utility ones like Champs Doodle give you some extra ramp outside of green as well. So if you don't want to focus on ramp, you can have it as a way to ramp if your opponent does. And even Crate Dragon being you good top end and a good benefit, especially alongside Force Throw, to help throw off Force Throw to do 9 damage to things. Then talking about Force Throw, it's one of the strong events in red as well. So you've got Force Throw being very good benefit, especially since your leader is Force. You can get that benefit as soon as you deploy Morgan. You also got damaging ones like Daring Raid and Open Fire. You got hand control ones and Pillage, and you got ever damaging ones like Bombing Run, Planetary Bombardment, which instead of doing damage to one thing, it does it for more things. Whereas Bombing Run does 3 damage to everything in that one arena, even yours. Whereas Planetary Bombardment just throws 8 to 12 damage, depending if you've got a capital shield at your opponent, and they get to choose where the damage goes, unless you've got Devastator. Now, if you want to go for force focus using the force mechanic or force units, you've got quite a few ones. You've got Acolyte as a card that's not a force unit, but can gain the force thanks to its effect. You got the Imperial Force units like 5th Brother, Grand Inquisitor, 7th Sister, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. We've kind of seen all these ones, good benefits early to endgame, and even Vader can be a pilot on a ship, get a benefit there as well, so it's got utility. Then for non-villainy ones, you've got things like Jedi Hiding, Merrin, Quinlan Voss, and Asajj Temperate Ventress, which outside of Jedi Hiding doesn't have a keyword, but they do have some good benefits. Merrin being a way to kind of do more damage, and Quinlan and Asajj being ones that kind of pair well together, not in just art but in effects. And there are ways to use the Force to make use of it, like Sorcerer's Blast to do damage, while do not 9 or more cards. Still, is aggression a good one to go for Morgan Elsbeth? I would say yes, because any Force leader can get a good benefit of the Force stuff, and even though there's not as many Force things or Force benefits from the villainy side, they're still good enough, even if heroism has the better ones. And lastly, that brings us to Cunning. So we have the last one being Cunning, and these are the bases that you have. Now, Cunning as an aspect is very strong, very good leaders, very good cards, but the bases kind of lack a little bit. So you got the Force bases, so Stunning is the standard common one, attack with the Force unit, gain the Force, but for the rare one, the way to gain the Force with that, which you do multiple times a turn, is by exhausting one of your own units. So you exhaust one of your own units, which means it kind of contradicts with Morgan, who wants to attack with a unit that's got a keyword, so you can then play something with a similar keyword. So it goes against Morgan, so it might not be the best one, but it's an option to you. And with the other ones, you got Petronac Arena, which can give Morgan extra 1 power if she's not deployed, but lower health. You got the Bat Village, which can increase consistency in your opening hand, but it takes away your mana gun. and you're going to get to keep the 3 extra cards you see. You've got to still put them at the bottom of your deck after. So increases consistency, but doesn't let you keep the cards. And then if you don't want any of those bases, because to be fair, the cunning bases aren't the best, you can always have the 30 health ones as well. Now for Villainy, there's quite a good few Villainy cards, but they're mainly on the Bounty Hunter and Underworld train. So Cunning in Villainy is more of a Bounty Hunter aspect, or Underworld aspect. So you can get good things from that, which gives you, and also to give you quite a few keywords. It's quite a few keywords in yellow. Like for turn 1 plays, you've got Bib and Aura, which give you some good keywords in Shield, Hidden, or Raid. Pretty nice ones to have. Aura especially because she can be protected thanks to Hidden, and then play out thing, be able to attack, and then basically bring out something similar, and having a good amount of health. Then you got Null, Emeralder, and Shinhati for your turns after, giving you Shield, Hidden, Shield, and Raid as well. So same kind of keywords, which is pretty nice. Then you got your bigger ones in like Boss and Techno Union Transport, giving you different arenas, giving you Ambush and Shielded as well, with some good keywords. You also have some other ones, like you've got the good combination of Fallout and Zuckers as well. You use some more keywords in Ambush and Saboteur, while having a nice synergy together. You also got Bazine being a nice one, smuggling, so you can smuggle that later, and also giving you hand control, and also knowledge too. You got some space ones in like your Lurking Typhantom and 7th Fleet Defender. That's pretty nice space units to help combat the space threats. And in CAD, White being the top end, White doesn't have a keyword, it's still one of the stronger cards to play for Villainy Cunning. Then we've got the normal Cunning cards. Like I've said throughout every single aspect, is that you mainly get better cards in Villainy and Heroism, but then Cunning still has some really good cards, but the units in non-Villainy and non-Heroism Cunning are not the best. Like, you got some good ones of keywords though, like you have, especially for Morgan, keywords are essential. You get Land Speeder and Crafty Smuggler for Ambush and Shield, which is pretty cool, and even Mysterious Knight for also Ambush too. Then you have Dooku, Syndicate Lackeys, and Fennec as well. It gives you like topper end, like higher end, giving you like Hidden Ambush as well, with some good benefits. So you got a good amount of ambush if you go for yellow, so it'd be a good one. And you also do get some good ones in everyone's like Raid is a good one as well. You also get a lot of good events like Electromagnetic Pulse for a nice one to combat space, damage them as well as tapping down. Speaking of tapping down, you can also get Outmaneuver too. Surprise Strike for extra damage, Nala Chew them to cheat out even more, and also Waylay 2 as well as temporary removal. Now for our Force Focus, there's not the best in yellow, because until this set we didn't have any Force units in normal yellow or Villainy yellow. They had some in the heroic side, but in the Villainy and normal, nothing at all. So we got some new ones this set, like we got Adaptive Power, Shinhati, Sex Sister, and Bane's Skull for the Villainy side, and you got Mysterious Hermit and Dooku for your normal yellow ones. And you also got some events as well. It could be some benefit to you. You got I Have Foreseen, which isn't great at the moment because Villainy doesn't have a Yoda style leader or effect to top deck or control what's on top of your deck, so not the best. But in future sets, it could maybe get more beneficial. You have Liberate Darkness being a cheaper Villainy focused Change of Heart, which is cool, but using the Force. And you've also got some other ones that you use the Force, like these ones here, like Simpson the Force, Gain the Force, Impossible Escape, 7 and drawing cards, Trust Your Instinct, a copy of Shoot First, and you've got Will the Force being a more expensive way it uses the Force. It can also discard too. So Force Focus, which she doesn't need to use, you have access to too, just not as beneficial, prevalent in this aspect combination of green and yellow in the Villainy side. So is Cunning a good option? I would say if you're not focusing on the Force, then yes, Cunning is good. If you're on the Force, then you're going to be lacking quite a bit, but there's a good amount of keywords. There's some very good ones in yellow for her to have a good option for it. Now we're coming to the end of the video. I've got my last little bit being my preferred aspects, because in every different leader I do have a preferred way to play, and sometimes this is something that's been asked of me because people are still unsure about by the end of it what they want to play, so a little bit extra help goes a long way, so I decided to put in my preferred aspects. And for Morgan, if I were to play her, I would play her green and blue, because green, blue, and Villainy gives you great aspect options. It's a great aspect combo. Gives you very good options for removal and tempo as well, giving you ramp plus as well as removal, so you can have good spread into almost everything, which is very strong. Like you get Paradox for removal, and then late game as well Snoke, and you can get the best benefit out of Vader with green. In fact, if you have ECL and timely, make sure you can give it ambush when you play it. Now that is the end of the video, so hopefully it's helped you understand how to build Morgan Elsbeth to suit you and your playstyle, and hopefully it's helped you out just in general. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit helps, especially on our way to 2,000 subs, which we're just a few away. And also, don't forget, we've got more of these on. So we've already honored the blue ones if you want to check out the blue leaders from last week or the previous week. And if you want to check out the next one, we're going to have Supreme Leader Snoke coming up tomorrow, so look out for that. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next one. Bye for now.